Am I in the wrong for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after what she did to my fiance? So I'm 28 female and my sister Ella, 31 female, is getting married in 2 weeks. We've always been close, even though we have our differences. I've always been more of a laid-back, introverted person, while Ella is the left of the party and loves being the center of attention. It never bothered me much, until now. I've been engaged to my fiance, Mark, 29 male, for about a year. He's wonderful, kind, supportive, and just an all-around great guy. My family has always liked him. However, about a month ago, something happened that made me question everything. Ella asked Mark to meet her for coffee one day, saying that she needed help picking out a wedding gift for me. I didn't think much of it at the time. When Mark came home, he was really quiet. After some coaxing, he finally told me what happened. Apparently, Ella spent the entire time trying to convince him that I wasn't right for him. She told him that I was too boring, that I wasn't ambitious enough, that he could do better. She even went as far as to suggest that he should call off the engagement and see other people. Mark was completely blindsided and upset. He said he defended me, but it was clear that Ella was relentless. I was furious when I found out. I confronted Ella, and she didn't even deny it. She said that she was just looking out for Mark and that she wants the best for him. When I asked her why she thought it was her place to interfere in our relationship, she just shrugged and said that she was being honest. I told her that what she did was completely out of line and hurtful, not just to me, but to Mark as well. She didn't apologize. Instead, she doubled down, saying that if I was confident in my relationship, I wouldn't be so upset. I ended up leaving her house in tears. Since then, I've barely spoken to her. My parents found out about the situation, and while they agree what Ella did was wrong, they're begging me to still attend the wedding. They think that missing it would cause a huge rift in the family and that I should just let it go for the sake of peace. But I don't know if I can. Mark supports whatever decision I make. Am I in the wrong for asking my wife to spend all of her savings? I, 34, am married to the love of my life, 33 female. My wife is kind, nurturing, and motivated in her career. She does a lot for me at home since I work long hours. We married 4 months ago, dated for 8 years. We're both easygoing and have the same sense of humor and rarely argue. I make 4 times more money. I'm in healthcare, but she makes a good salary as well. Since I make 4 times what she does, I tend to pay for most things. Dinners, weekend trips, mall shopping, which I absolutely do not mind. With bigger purchases, we pay for things together in proportion to what we make. She's usually okay with paying her share of things, a fourth of the rent and groceries, and will sometimes offer to pay for dinners and dates. She's very close with her best friends. She has 4. They're great people, but basically they're attached at the hip and talk daily in a group chat, which is fine. Everyone needs a support system. I have similar friends. Her and her 4 friends have a combined savings account together for investing in something together. They've each been putting in a few $100s per month. I've known about this for years and didn't love the idea initially, which I expressed. But she was adamant that she wanted this, and at the time we weren't hurting for money, and it was ultimately her money and her decision. We're now looking to buy a home in one of the most expensive real estate markets in the US. She expresses that she doesn't have much in her own savings, but has $20,000 of her own money tied in with her friends' combined savings. Over the last year, they've been told by 2 financial advisors that 5 people attempting to invest together in real estate or stocks or business wasn't a great idea. They also recommend to split the funds to 5 separate accounts since the account is under one of the friends' names, and there are tax implications for having that much money to her name, $100,000. The homes that we're looking at need around $60,000 to $70,000 for a down payment. I stated that I was willing to spend nearly all my savings for the down payment for a home, around $50,000. So I told her that she should pull that money from her joint friend's account to help with the down payment. It's a huge purchase, and I don't think it should be my burden alone. She got really upset and told me, I don't want to touch that money. I promised my friends that it would be for investing together. We should look for a less expensive home then, maybe a fixer-upper. She then stated, it would be easier for you to accrue the money back since you make so much more. This was very frustrating, and I told her, it's unfair to have to spend nearly all my savings and you don't. Your friend fund is stupid, and it's stupid to not use that money for our future home. Am I in the wrong for asking her to use her own cash from her friend's account to break that promise with her friends so that we can buy a nice home together? Am I in the wrong for breaking up with my boyfriend in front of his friends over his girl bestie? We've been together for 8 months and official for 4. I love him honestly and everything was great. We met each other's family and friends and the whole thing. On Saturday, I was meeting with him and his friends and he was to introduce me to his best friend from college. Let's call her Karen. She came an hour and a half late and he refused to order until she was there. I wasn't very hungry, so I wasn't bothered at first, but then she came without any apologies or anything. She just nodded hi when he introduced us. The other 2 friends were with their girlfriends and they weren't very glad to have waited before dinner. Her explanation was that she got caught up in a game. We're all way into our 30s, by the way. Then she got a bit drunk and was all over my boyfriend. The first time she talked to me was to tell me, I hope that you aren't like the other girls and get intimidated by our friendship. I was like, what? I don't get intimidated by other women. She insisted that she was the reason my boyfriend and all of his exes broke up. My boyfriend then interjected agreeing with her. I asked how so, and he said, jealousy, and some have given me an ultimatum, and I would never choose an insecure girl that I have known for 8 months over a friend who I've known for years. She was giggling the whole time. I was a bit yuck, and I said that women don't usually have problems with other women. You speak about this happening with multiple women. What are the odds that they were all wrong when there's a common denominator? She started laughing and saying that I was just like them, and my boyfriend, like I've seen him for the first time in his pathetic form, said, Well, yeah, this goes for us too. If you make that ultimatum, then it's over for us too. I just said that he needn't worry because I'm better than playing pick me in my 30s, so I'm bowing out. I left the restaurant and transferred my part of the bill to him. Now he says I was in the wrong for breaking up without discussion, and to do it in front of his friends like that was embarrassing. His friends thought I did great, and they didn't think that I was in the wrong at all, and they were laughing and making burn sounds when I left, so he found it embarrassing. But he said I was in the wrong because we love each other. Am I in the wrong for telling my girlfriend to leave me the fuck alone after her prank? My girlfriend, 24, and I, male 25, have been dating for 2 years. She and I spend a lot of time together and know each other very well. I have had some relationship issues in the past, so I'm very forward and communicative because of situations that I've been in the past. I am irrationally afraid of clowns. I have to emphasize the irrational part. My dad used to watch scary movies when I was a kid, and it was one of his favorites. This movie has had such an impact on my life that I've been to the hospital for panic attacks because of incidents with a clown in which my girlfriend was there for. We went to a haunted house, and long story short, I was very affected by the clown portion. Ultimately, I said this to say that she knows of my fear and the effect it has on me. We had a pretty big argument over her not working the past month. She brought up a feeling of stagnation and depression, and I attributed it to her unemployment, as in my experience while working sucks. Being productive is a very big driver in the motivation and overall mental health. I'm a very blunt and forward person and struggle a bit with empathy, so looking back on it, I was a bit rude. She took this as me saying she was lazy and nonchalant about her career. Ultimately, I'm not concerned about that. While I do want her to be successful, I more want her to be happy. I assume that she felt attacked, and instead of communicating this to me and us working it out, she internalized it and has taken to retaliation. After a long night of socializing with our friends, we went back to my apartment. She turned on a movie and we sat together watching it for a while. I drifted to sleep and was soon awoken by her in full clown Halloween costume. This was one of the most terrifying and frightening experiences I may have ever had. Falling asleep with someone I'm completely vulnerable and have a lot of trust in to be woken up by my true worst fear sent me into a full-fledged panic attack. I couldn't breathe in my own home nonetheless and was paralyzed by fear. She not only targeted my weakness, but continued tormenting me while I hyperventilated, and I was soon in tears, curled up on the floor, struggling to breathe. After what felt like years, truthfully 5 minutes, she took off the costume trying to comfort me and bringing me an inhaler, but started saying that that's how I made her feel after speaking about her not having a job. I really love her. We felt like such a perfect match, but to attack me so personally and without communication of the underlying issue prior, I have truly lost all trust for her. I told her to leave me the fuck alone and get out of my house. Obviously, this went over poorly, but I have never felt so betrayed by someone I love before. She hasn't spoken to me for 2 weeks since, despite my efforts, and I'm truly exhausted trying. Am I in the wrong? Do I deserve this, or should I move on? Am I in the wrong for glowing up after my divorce and not before? I, 53 female, have been divorced from my ex-husband, Larry, 54 male, for 6 years. Larry and I have 2 adult children, Steve, 27 male, and Carla, 25 female. Larry and I met in college when we were both electrical engineering students. We were both very much on the nerdy side and looked the part, but we were very attracted to each other, or so I thought. We got married soon after we graduated and both worked as engineers, but after a few years, Larry decided that he wanted to go into law school to become a patent lawyer. In order to look the lawyer part, Larry underwent a major glow up during this time on pretty much all levels: tailored clothes, fancy haircuts, designer accessories like watches, etc., along with working out to trade his dad bod for a lean gym bod. During this time, I was having and raising our small children while taking care of about 95% of the household matters because of his long working hours, all while working full time. I admit, I didn't glow up along with Larry. My own appearances has always been on the plainer side. I'm not overweight, but a bit stocky, 5'5", 140 pounds. Simple haircut, glasses, practical clothes, not much makeup. Larry loved me as is for about the first decade of our relationship, but after he started working as a lawyer, he started to become drawn to more conventionally attractive women and had several affairs. When pressed for counseling, he said that the issues were things like my big nose and post-baby tummy pooch, not things that I could fix with a simple makeover. I was getting organized to ask for a divorce when Carla was hit by a car while riding her bike. She survived and is fine now, but needed several years of intensive surgeries and rehab. In order to provide a unified front for Carla and Steve, Larry and I agreed to stay married and be as cordial as possible. He continued to see other women during this time, but by this time, I was past trying to get him to be faithful. We did separate and divorce after Carla went off to college. Larry remarried now to a much younger woman, 33 female. In the past couple years, I've actually decided to focus more on myself, including my appearance. Now that my children are grown and out of the house and I don't have to worry about tiptoeing around a difficult husband, I finally have the time and resources to do so. I didn't get a nose job or any other plastic surgery like Larry wanted, but I did update my hair color, started working out more, lost about 15 pounds, got a new wardrobe, and actually started dating. I don't have a steady partner yet, but regularly going to age-appropriate singles events and going on dates. Unfortunately, my children detest the new me. In particular, they blame me for the divorce and are angry that I didn't glow up to accommodate Larry, saying I was too selfish and lazy to do so when it mattered. My son Steve is getting married soon, and he says he's too angry to invite me to the wedding. Carla has gone low contact with me. I had great relationships with both of them until I started my own glow up process a couple years ago, which was a few years after Larry and I finalized our divorce. Steve and Carla told me that the only way to fix this, the only thing that would be fair, is to go back to the way that I was before, meaning stop coloring my hair, dress in my former plain, frumpy way, and stop dating. They say they're the most upset about the dating, and it's not fair for me to be looking for a new partner. Am I in the wrong for kicking out my roommate's twin sister after she took over my room? So I, 29 male, a second generation Indo-Canadian, recently moved to the US for work. Things were going great until I ended up in a house with these two ethnically Polish twins from the UK, Kasia and Nadia, both 27. Kasia's in med school and Nadia just passed the bar and is practicing law. Both of them are smart, driven, and yeah, they're pretty attractive. Not that it matters, but they do love their yoga pants, just setting the scene here. Anyway, Kasia was my original roommate. We met through a mutual friend and it seemed like a perfect setup. We split the rent 50-50 and I took the larger room because I work from home at times and needed the space. Everything was peachy until Nadia, the twin from hell, decided to move in after she broke up with her boyfriend, without even asking me, mind you. Suddenly, Nadia was crashing on our couch every night. She was loud, always on the phone, and had a knack for using my stuff without asking. And let me tell you, nothing prepares you for finding your 8 a.m. Zoom meeting shirt on your roommate's sister while she was doing yoga in the living room. But here's where things got heated. Kasia had to go on a 2-week clinical rotation in another city, and she told Nadia that she could take over her room. Fine, whatever, that was between them. But then, Nadia decided that my room was better for her mental health, or some nonsense because of the natural light and feng shui. So she started moving her stuff into my room while I was at work. When I got home and saw this, I nearly lost it. My bed, my desk, my PS5, all of it was shoved into the smaller bedroom. And Nadia had turned my room into her own little office yoga studio combo. Kasia, from wherever she was doing her rotation, thought that this was all just a big misunderstanding and that we could sort it out when she got back. So, in my infinite wisdom, or maybe stupidity, you decide, I told Nadia that she had 24 hours to get out. When she didn't budge, I started moving her stuff back into the living room. She flipped out, threatening to sue me for unlawful eviction, which I'm pretty sure isn't a thing when you're not even on the lease. The next morning, she was gone, along with Kasia's expensive espresso machine, my favorite hoodie, and all of the toilet paper in the house. Kasia's furious at me for mishandling the situation and says I've caused a rift between them. Nadia, now back at her ex's place, is telling everyone that I'm an a-hole who discriminates against Eastern Europeans. So, am I in the wrong here? Am I in the wrong for forcing my wife to remove her tattoo that she got without consulting me? So, I don't really like tattoos on a girl, personal preference, and my wife knows this. On the other hand, my wife really wanted to get one. Then one day out of the blue, she gets a tattoo of my name on her collarbone to surprise me. When she showed me that, I really didn't know how to react. On one side, I was disappointed that she got one, but because it was my name, I let it slide because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I told her that despite me not liking tattoos, I appreciate the gesture. But since I let that one slide, she kept jokingly telling me how she wants some designs on her neck. I told her that tattoos really irk me and I'm not in agreement of this. And just as I also respect her opinions on some things, for example, like she hates me clean shaved, so I haven't really done a clean shave in ages, she should also respect my opinions. Now, here is where the problem is. She had gone home to visit her parents and she calls me yesterday that I have a surprise. And she sends me a photo of a tattoo on her neck. When I saw that, I felt really hurt and disappointed that she couldn't respect this wish of mine. When I confronted her, she said that she was sorry, but she didn't know that I would be so hurt and to let it go. When I didn't accept her apology, she started telling me to stop being a kid and not make a huge scene out of a small thing. She was making me feel like I was a bad guy for not immediately forgiving her. However, I stood my ground and really ignored her apology, and I even canceled our upcoming vacation trip because I had zero mood of traveling anymore. She's now telling me that she'll get it removed if it's such a big problem for me, but she's making me feel like an a-hole for doing this. Somehow, I'm still the bad person here. But am I not justified for having strong preferences and opinions about what my partner should do? Why am I the bad person here when in fact she was the one who went behind my back and did the thing that I don't like? She thinks I could have let it go because it's not a big deal and that I'm an a-hole in this one. So tell me y'all, am I?